Sean ramped our van over a guardrail. That was awesome.
He wrecked the van without even turning it on.
Yeah. He thought he had it on.
He's not a driver.
True story.
Our van's all like, power brakes and everything, so with he turned the battery on, did not turn the ignition. And he thought it was already on. And it was raining. I don't know.
Yeah, that's what it was.
I'm trying to give him at least some credit.
No, I basically had a panic attack. Like, I don't drive well. I have a lot of issues with it.
He tried to stick it in the drive, ended up sticking it into neutral. With our van off in neutral, it started rolling down this hill. And he tried to hit the power brakes, which obviously weren't responding very well.
Keeps hitting gas pedal because I was freaking out on.
Okay,
Brakes still work. Yeah.
But anyway, completely ramped the front end of our van with trailer attached just over this guardrail, and we had to call a tow truck, and they had to lift the whole front end up and move it slowly back. It was probably a good hour.
Like they didn't even leave. Like they were sitting in their van, like just watching the whole process, like making fun of us. It was so funny.
It was my second day on the job too. It was very, very scary.
The joke. We were kind of laughing about it, like videotaping and taking pictures. As long as there wasn't any like substantial damage to the van, we didn't really care that much.
Yeah, thankfully there was not.
Now it's just a good story. Phillies with cheese. We should get the cheese whiz.
Yeah, dude, easy cheese.
Yeah, and squirt that in there.
Yeah. How did you guys hook up with Metal Blade?
Yeah. I'll tell you, it was all you, man. Well, we released the album Behold the Lion on Tribunal Records, and then like 2 months later we had some interest from some labels, and we got to the contract point with a label, and that we got an entertainment lawyer, and he looked over the contract and he said it was kind of weak and wouldn't be beneficial to us, and we didn't really care because this was a pretty nice sized independent label. So he said he would just pitch it to some other places, and Metal Blade was one of them.
Really?
And they bid on it. So it just kind of happened like really quick as far as like that process when it was like seriously like we released the album Behold the Lion in
June of 07,
and we were on Metal Blade in October. So I had to start writing.
we did like one tour after the album was released in June, and then we were just sitting at home, not really doing anything. We're just like, oh, okay, what do we do now? And then started getting the whole Century Media thing, and then with Metal Blade. So we were pretty much wrapped up in that for like maybe a month. Once we.
I'll take some actually.
Yeah, there you go.
To back up to well, how did you guys hook up with Tribunal? Because they do like Kill Whitney Dead, or the dude is in Kill Whitney Dead.
It was real funny how that turned out. It was
oh wow.
some.
I know.
It's full of flavor.
Yeah, it just explode with flavor in your mouth.
A friend of Matt from Tribunal Records. Her name's actually Chris. She found us on MySpace years ago, and then like she just told Matt from Tribunal, like, here's this band on MySpace, and I sort of like them, check them out, and it sort of just things just grew from there. He got a hold of us and actually was like seeing if we were interested in the label and all that. So we only did like with Tribunal, we only did like one record deal. So we tried to pretty much use it as a stepping stone to get up to a major label. Definitely worked, man. They were awesome.
He's losing it.
Oh man,
I know.
He gets these giggle fits, man. You just can't.
Give him some of these. Do you ever get sick of it though? Being on the road so much?
Well, the longest we've been out at a time was 2.5 months. I'd say after being out that long, towards the end, you're kind of like, man, I really just like to go home for a little bit.
Yeah.
And actually sleep in my own bed.
it's like recharging your batteries. You got to be out like even though I hate being at home, like if I'm long enough, I don't even know. Like I'll be out on the road for a month, and then I'll be sitting there thinking about my hometown, which when I'm there, I hate it so much. There's just nothing to do. It's so boring. But when you're away from it for long enough, you start to get a little homesick, and so you really just need. I mean, for me, maybe, but just a few days to just chill at home. But I mean, it's not even consistent. Like being out on the road, like what we do normally, like a month out, and then we'll have some time off and go back out for a month. I mean, that's perfect because you have plenty of time to, be able to just sit at home and relax.
I don't think sick of it's really the right term, though. I mean, like for me, there's a level of familiarity that is still there, like even being out on the road. I thought it was going to feel a lot different going to place from place. But even if you're in a local band, you load up in a van and you go to the venue and you play the show and you get tired, you go home. And essentially that's what we're still doing, but we're all out here because we really enjoy what we do. So I don't think anyone ever gets tired of touring. Like, I don't want to do this anymore. It's never like that. Just like Johnny said, you just want to take a break and kind of be home.
Get tired of home again.
Yeah, it's always like,
we get tired of it.
yeah, we get home and we're like, all right, let's get to like the base where everybody's cars are or whatever, you know, like my house or whatever, and then we'll just be like, okay, everybody don't talk to each other for like 2 weeks. Like, stay away from each other. Then like 4 or 5 days will go by and we'll just talk to Johnny or something, like, dude, I'm ready to leave again. Because you get home and you're like, oh great, yeah, hi mom, hi dad. You know, if you have a girlfriend or something, talk to her or whatever for about 5 minutes.
Cal still sleep on the van. I mean,
I sleep in a van sometimes.
Oh yeah.
He goes on tour by himself.
I do. I just do a little regional tour.
Goes to the Walmart parking lot 5 minutes away from the house. Sleeps in the bed.
Oh really?
Yeah, that. No.
Not a bad hotel. It's all right. Fine with
Awesome.
tonight. So.
Yeah, we like the price.
Is this a humbling experience for you?
Absolutely.
What have you learned in the time that this band has been touring?
That was a worse driver than I imagined.
I learned that Sean was the worst driver than I imagined. I honestly, like, I think it's great, like, because when we first signed with Metal Blade, you know, we were obviously younger, we were just like, you have for just a second, you have that thought, like, instantly we're going to be on these big tours and we're going to be, like, we knew we weren't naive enough to think that we were going to just be making millions of dollars or something, but we were like, we're going to be making good enough money to, like, you know, pay all of our bills and not have to work really when we're home and stuff like that. You know, you don't think about the issues like van trouble and stuff like that and having to drop money on that, or having to pay merch bills, and sometimes promoters try and stiff you on a guarantee, or, you know, things like that. You don't really, like, you can't foresee all of that. So humbling is the perfect word for it there. It's just like, you know, it really, like, allows you to build up a foundation of just realizing where exactly you're at in your career, and you're not this huge band that is going to make millions of dollars. You have to really want to do it. You have to be passionate enough to be willing to sleep in the van in a Walmart parking lot. Not be afraid to tell everybody that that's what you do.
Yeah, we're being on Metal Blade. You're kind of like among a literal pantheon of like a lot of your biggest influences. We tour with a lot of bands. I think it's
You just make up a word.
I'm saying, like, yeah, I know for me, I still feel starstruck. Like, I still feel starstruck sometimes when we go out. These guys have, you know, been doing it for a lot longer than me. I just joined up a few months ago, but I went out just really expecting a lot of different things and feared rock star egos and just all kinds of wild, imaginative experiences that you see in movies and you read about in magazines, and it's really humbling to meet the people and realize that they're all just real people like you. Whatever level of success that they're at, they're just usually very down to earth, and it's nice to know that that factor of humanity is still there. You know, that we're all just a bunch of dudes just trying to do the same thing. I mean, that's the best part of it for me, I think.
Did you come across rockstar egos?
Usually it's from local bands.
I noticed that too.
Like the bands that we're out with, they've all been through the same crap that we're going through. So, like bands like Unearth, like those dudes busted balls for years. You know, like those, they built a foundation. So, like they were incredibly nice guys. Like so easy to tour with. Cattle Decapitation, awesome guys. Like I was a little intimidated by this tour. I was like, man, God to Throne, Abigail Williams. Like we have a lot of Christian themes in our music, you know, and in our lyrics stuff. We're not a Christian band, but you know, a lot of the stuff that I write about is very Christian based. Most of it is actually. So I was thinking, like, man, I hope we don't clash with these guys. Then we meet them, and they're like the nicest dudes ever. And it really showed me just like, okay, stop stereotyping just because of a band's name or their image and their pictures. Like, don't stereotype because like God the Throne are like incredibly nice people, and so are Abigail Williams. So we've never really had any bands that we didn't get along with. No, like ever.
Yeah, at least the tour.
Yeah, Brother Von Doom, we hated those guys.
What happened with that?
No, it was a band.
We hated that band so much that we took the guitar player for merch.
Yeah.
That is awesome, man. So as far as like your writing process now, 'cause, you know, with so many lineup changes since last time I saw you, how does this work as a unit? How do you guys write new stuff?
It's been relatively like the writing process now for like we're writing a new album. Right now we're in the early stages. It's like new to all of us. It's really with our previous albums, like our Tribunal release, that was like maybe 2-3 years of stored up material all on one album. Our newer one, Kingdom of Might, that one was probably about 9 or 10 months of writing, but this one that we're doing now is more all of us throwing in combined like ideas, and we're all at the practice phase rather than maybe 2 or 3 people being there at once, which is what had happened with our previous album. So it's like it's a new learning experience for all of us, but it's still pretty productive because we're all good friends, so we don't have like egos colliding that much, and when we're writing or something, like if someone has an idea, we at least try it,
Yeah, for sure.
Instead of saying, no, dude, that sounds stupid, we'll just stick with this or something like that, so it's been pretty bittersweet, I'd say. It's stressful nonetheless, because we're sort of on a time schedule, so it's like you have to do this, you have to keep writing, but